with Tim.
I'm Tim Martiniuk, and this is Jay. Hi, we're brothers here at Stoneboat, and Jay is our winemaker technically, although I've done a lot of the winemaking over the past few years while Jay's been at school learning winemaking. Yeah. With Pinotage, it's always the last grape to come in. We're usually hanging on to the bitter end while it ripens, and once we do bring it in, we crush it and then send everything to our open top fermenters, where we'll leave it on a cold soak for about 4 or 5 days, and then begin the fermentation process with a variety of yeasts that we've been experimenting on. Yeah, we've also done some experimentation with doing native or indigenous, and using the autochthonous yeasts that are in the vineyards to carry out the fermentations as well, and we've got good results from that. But generally we try and keep the fermentations at around anywhere from 28 to 32 degrees Celsius, and with frequent punching down during the fermentation, usually twice a day. And we'll do pump overs as well, just to try and cool the fermentation at the same time. After that, we might leave it to macerate on the skins for a few days, but usually not too long. We'll let it ferment dry, take it and put it to barrel, using about probably 50% new oak, 10% of that being American, and we'll let it go through malolactic fermentation, and then leave it in barrel for another 14 months or so. One thing we found is that depending on the season, Pinotage always comes through for us. But the weather that we experience, especially more in September and in October, dramatically, as with a lot of grapes, but especially with this one, dramatically affects the profile that we get from it. If it's a cooler season, as we've had in the last couple of years, 2008, 2009, the fruit characters veer from more of a plummy, jammy style to almost a tropical fruit style. I've never had a red wine where mango could be used as a descriptor, but in fact you can detect that in the Pinotage, and it's actually quite thrilling from a winemaking perspective. In 2007 we had a very warm year, and so we picked at a higher Brix level, and we as a result round up with a lot more of a jammy, plummy character to the wine, but there is always still that sort of a wild berry fruit character. Yeah, a rambunctious fruit character, you could say, to the Pinotage, which makes it that much more exciting.
And the 2008 vintage and the 2009 vintage, how are they?
2008 has some of that rambunctious fruit character, I guess you could say, with a little, and the 2009 as well. It's comparatively similar. I'd say the 2009 it got to hang a little bit longer. It might be a touch riper, but it's another one of the, I guess, a cooler vintage. Initially, when the Pinotage goes to barrel after fermentation, and then when it's finished its secondary fermentation, the mallow, we find it takes about 15 months in barrel to tame some of that fruit. It can be just screaming wild berry, and it almost needs to meld over that 14-month period to really not homogenize, but to mellow out a bit. Yeah, lose some of, I guess, that fermentation bouquet.
Now, your Pinotage has won the Governor's Cup.
Yes, yep, we won the Lieutenant Governor's Award in 2007, which was fantastic. I actually checked with the competition beforehand to make sure that they wouldn't know that they were tasting Pinotage when they tasted it, because here in Canada sometimes people can be predisposed to negative attitudes about Pinotage, but they thought it was fantastic, and I imagine most of the judges there would never have guessed it was Pinotage, because the way it's expressed here in the variety expresses itself here in Canada, or in the Okanagan specifically, where we are, is somewhat different from the classic South African Pinotage.
But that wasn't your only win, that one, because you also won for your Pinot Noir, I think?
We've won twice for our Pinot Noir, yes. The Pinot Noir won this year, and that was the 2009 vintage, and then the 06 vintage won as well.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thanks.